Welcome to Rise and Thrive. This is the podcast with leaders that help our communities thrive. And the inspirational stories we hope will move you into more community engagement. I'm your host, Patrice Dayton. My guest today is Kara Skinner. Kara is the principal at South Vermillion High School.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hopefully you're enjoying some of your summer.
Yes.
I know you have to work through your summer.
Yes, absolutely. It is a different pace.
Take us back to the beginning,
Yes.
a little bit about yourself
Okay.
and how you got your start in education.
Sure thing. So I started my college on a different path. I started with a different major, was grateful and had an opportunity to coach high school volleyball while I was pursuing my four-year degree. So that was a huge pivot point in my life. And it was when I really realized the power and impact that you can have on other students. Other people. I really fell in love with the opportunity to mentor high school age students, which really got me kind of thinking about my future and what I really wanted out of it. So I did end up changing my major, started with elementary education, had a wonderful opportunity to substitute in a kindergarten classroom for 3 weeks, which quickly helped me realize our elementary education was probably not the place for me. Loved little kids, had always babysat growing up, so I knew that was my calling. Got there and then realized, maybe I really liked the high school age students better. So pivoted once again to secondary education, where I obtained a license to teach social studies and math. Got my first job teaching 8th grade math in Kokomo, Indiana.
Okay.
My husband's job brought us to the Vermillion County, Terre Haute area, where I took a couple years off. We had 4 children in about 5 years.
Wow.
So we were very busy.
Yes.
I was very busy on the home front, having children, raising children. So it took about 6 or 7 years off, and then went back into teaching high school math at South Vermillion High School. While I was teaching high school math there, I was also working on getting my next degree. So I was working on my master's, and then got the nudge or the call to see if I wanted to give the administrative role a try. So I got a phone call from Attica, Indiana, went up there and explored that option. And it was late July. It was about where we are right now in the July 23rd area, and took the leap, and very grateful that I did.
Now, you were principal in Attica while your family was still back in
Yes.
Vermillion County. That's tough.
Yes. It was a challenge. It presented a challenge for sure, just in terms of, especially with the secondary administrative role, there's so many after-school supervisions and activities that I feel is very important for the leader to be at. So I knew that was going to be a challenge. And, just because I had never done it before or seen it done does not mean that it's not possible to do. So took that on and made it work.
That's wonderful. And now you're
Yes.
back home?
Yes, definitely back home. Very excited. We kind of contemplated, do we move the kids? Do we take them to the schools up there? But at that point, it was a personal, professional decision of myself. And didn't want to impose that change upon my 4 kids who had already established great roots here at Vermillion County, at South Vermillion Schools, and their support network. Did not want to take that away from them and disrupt their lives unnecessarily, especially with all the late nights and stuff. So definitely happy with the decision to keep them here, and we made it work.
Well, why Vermillion County? What makes it work for your family? You seem to love it.
Yes.
The kids seem to love it.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
I think it has enough of a small town feel that everybody just kind of unites in a network of support for each other. And I really appreciate that, both in the small school and the small town feel. And really, there are a lot of reasons that I was able to make it work. Working so far away from home. One, I had a wonderful superintendent and a great support family up in Attica where I was at, and they really encouraged me to take the opportunity to prioritize my family still. Sure. My husband really helped out and stepped up in roles that, maybe he didn't take on before, and made it possible for me to aspire to my professional goals. But then also, that small town feel, that village, so to speak,
Sure.
that we find ourselves with while we're raising our kids, the proxy parents that step in and help when we need help getting our kids to and from practice or whatever it may be. My village definitely made it possible also, and that was why I knew I wanted to keep them here.
You're a perfect example, though, of a woman who could really have it all. You're a mom. You still had the family.
Mm-hmm.
You had your dream job.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. Can we talk about women in leadership and maybe the challenges, but also the wonderful aspect of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I had once heard that you can have it all. You may not be able to have it all at the same time, but you can definitely attain it all, whatever it is that you are wanting to commit yourself to and your priorities in life. So I give huge props and kudos to the women who came before me, who broke those glass ceilings down and broke those barriers down and created opportunity, because I feel blessed to say that I have never felt, made to feel inferior or lack of leadership capacity because of my gender.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good for you. And like you said, the support system for anybody is just so important.
Absolutely. And I think that is for all parents. The challenge in leadership is balance, I think, and still being the person that you need to at home, but then also in your leadership capacity, in my role at least, with not just being there to support all of the students in the community, but also all of the staff members, and making sure that they are in an environment where they can be their best selves.
Wonderful. And what advice would you give to some young people? And maybe you give it to your kids in your home, in your school, if they want to be a leader or to step up and help our communities.
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the coolest things about my job, is those opportunities for conversation and mentoring with young people who are trying to find themselves. They're at such a pivotal role or a pivotal point in their life. So it's really cool to help them see the possibility. And a lot of times, it's just that little nudge they need, and it may start with the smallest of role. Maybe, the president of their club or organization is obligated in another capacity, so they, just need that slight nudge or encouragement to step up and assume some of those roles. And, success builds success. Sure. And I think the littlest bit of success or opportunities to lead and have impact kind of get you thirsty for more. And then you can start building on that, building the confidence and you start to realize impact. Yep.
Any exciting news for South Vermillion High School this year?
So we are very committed to and excited about helping students explore that next chapter, whatever it may be. So we're constantly looking to embed opportunities for students, whatever their path is. So maybe students who are thinking more of a military or public service route, we have created some new coursework or a new class this year for public servants. So we're really excited about that. We continue to build and bolster our vocational opportunities through the CTE programming. We are part of a co-op with many other schools called the WRCTE, and we're constantly looking for new programming in terms of providing students the opportunity to really build skills, whether it's in the technical trades, auto, heavy machinery, or we have students building a house across the street, or cosmetology. Wow. We are building skills of our future teachers, which is such an incredible thing in a school. So we have many, many different programs, and we're constantly building the capacity for more programs for students to really take the opportunity to figure out, what it is that they want to explore. And sometimes, as I tell them, even those opportunities where you walk away thinking, I thought it was going to be everything I wanted to be, and I found out it wasn't, that is such a valuable experience to have in high school.
It is. In life.
Yes, in life, for sure. And great to experience that in high school rather than 6 years down the road when some may say, well, it's too late to change. So on top of that, we are also constantly trying to build our programming and systems for students who are pursuing a post-secondary option in colleges and universities. So we're very happy to announce that we were just named as the recipients of a Reckon grant. And the Reckon grant provides lots of funding for schools to bolster their dual credit opportunities for students. So we currently do have the capacity to offer students the ICC, which is, basically a certificate where students can take with them college degrees,
Okay.
college courses towards a degree.
While in high school.
Yes, while in high school. So the Rec and Grant will allow us to compensate teachers for offering those dual credit classes, because it's an additional workload for our staff members who are not only offering high school credits, but on top of that, they are also following college syllabi and entering grades in the college grade book. And so there's an added workload. So we're hopeful to be able to compensate teachers for that, to make it more incentivizing for them, and also help with credentialing, because in order for teachers to teach their content at the college level, they have to have a certain amount of credentialing in place. So hopefully we can use some of those funds to also help teachers obtain the credentials necessary so that we can continue to increase the dual credit opportunities at our school.
A lot of great things happening.
Yes.
I think it's wonderful. Back in my day anyway, it was just, math, reading, science.
Yes.
Now the world is open.
Yes.
Everything. And it's so great that the
Yes.
schools are offering so many things that they can just taste test.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
see if they like it.
Absolutely.
Kind of like what you did, just learning by let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Learning by, I don't want to say failure, learning by mistakes.
Absolutely.
Making mistakes.
Yes.
Or that is so important.
Absolutely. It is. Some people, I think as a society, we have been trained to believe that failure is the opposite of success. And that's a conversation that I have with students all the time, is I really feel like it is a part of our success. Every single opportunity in life, whether it yields the result you were hoping for or not. When we don't get the result we're hoping for, a lot of times we define that as a failure.
Right.
And that has such a negative connotation. But really, every single experience has the opportunity to be a pivot point in our life. And while we're pursuing one thing, those experiences happen as they will. And if we embrace it as the opportunity to pivot and really truly find the direction in life that we want to go rather than a failure, I feel like there's so much that can be gleaned from it. I give the example for students a lot of times. I kind of help them correlate it in their brain. When you are holding a compass, which students don't really know what a compass is, so then I have to rephrase it as the GPS on your phone. When you're trying to navigate, whether you're in a car, in a parking lot, or walking through a city, and you have stopped, you've kind of idled in life, the GPS cannot do its work. It can't help you decide which way you need to go. You have to take that first step in order to decide which way. Even if it's in the wrong direction, now I know I need to pivot and go the other way. And life is funny in the same way. If we get stuck in our comfort zone and we kind of idle for a while, I think we lose the capacity to orient ourselves into which direction we really need to go.
I can see why you're a role model to so many young people. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
The bottom line is just step up and try it.
Yes, absolutely.
Just do it. Make that first step.
Yes, and a lot of times the perfectionism or fear of failure is the greatest enemy to progress. We get so stuck and afraid to step outside of our comfort zone because, there's risk of failure, and we become very, very vulnerable. And allowing yourself the grace to start as a beginner and work your way up to that level of perfection, or as close as you can be, I think speaks volumes.
That's wonderful. Is there anything that you'd want to add that we haven't covered, or how you would like to see the next generation be leaders? You're working with the next generation, the future.
Yeah, I hope, I think one of my biggest priorities in being a leader is the element of servant leadership. And really being there to best support those that are on my team and work that I have the luxury of working alongside of every day, because that's truly where the magic happens. So I really view my role as creating an environment where, they best feel supported and recognize their value of. Because at the end of the day, I think a true leader recognizes that the success of the institution overall, or the entirety of the institution, speaks much higher volumes to any one person's individual success. So, there's a lot of research that goes in the world of education, into Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And, obviously the most important is the physiological needs, breathing and substance and stuff like that. But then there's a level of safety and security. And then above that is the feeling of needing to be loved and belonged. And that's something that we as educators concentrate on heavily when we are trying to create an environment for our students to best learn. But I think as adults and professionals ourselves, there's something to be said for that.
Again, it's that support system.
Absolutely.
That team.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Building
in this
your
as a
network
team.
and your community.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful things. Anything else, Kara, that you'd like to add about what's going on at South Vermillion, about women, young people needing to step up?
I think my big message is to follow your passion, follow your heart for the high school students that we work with. And when you do that, tasks seem less like a job and more like life's calling. And there's so much fulfillment in that. And I think you start to measure and evaluate the impact that you're having and not how many minutes are left on the time clock. And I think that's where the real magic happens.
Wonderful. Well, I'm sure that lots of kids from South Vermillion High School will step up and make Vermillion County an even better place to live and to work. So.
We are confident they will.
Kara Skinner, she is the principal at South Vermillion High School. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
The Wabash Valley certainly needs more role models and leaders like Kara Skinner. We hope you will rise and thrive. Rise up and help our communities thrive. I'm Patrice Dayton. Have yourself a great day.